It's raining men. They're well past their best before date, but still. Today we're looking at Gary's falling zombie Saboteur, which automatically raises zombies from the sky to crush his enemies. Welcome to Build of the Week. I'm Eben from Grinding Gear Games. The Affliction League introduced a new transfigured skill gem, Raise Zombie of Falling. This gem raises necromantic energies into the sky, which coalesce into a zombie minion. This minion attacks in a unique way, by falling to the ground and dealing area damage, killing the zombie in the process. Pour one out, lads. Gary took this a step further. He decided to automate the summoning of these zombies. First, we link it to Cast While Channeling and Cyclone. If you're not aware how this works, Cyclone is an attack skill that lets you channel to spin around indefinitely. Cast While Channeling triggers spells linked to it, which in this case is Raise Zombie of Falling. Just like that, we have a reliable way to automatically let the bodies hit the floor.
Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the
So this would rain one man every 0.3 seconds, but we need men. To this end, Gary takes the Perfect Crime node from the Saboteur Ascendancy. This summons two little minions that cause any spell that triggers to instead trigger twice, once from each bot's location. So now we have two falling zombies per activation. The downside is that this effectively doubles the mana cost of our spell. We have to do a bit of work to get around the mana problem. Eldritch Battery, Discipline, and item mods like these. But with all that done, we've now got a supply of infinite zombies. So what else is Gary up to? Raise Zombie of Falling is a minion spell, so damage is modified by everything related to minions. A shortcut to minion damage can be found with Elegant Hubris. This jewel has a lot going on, but essentially it uses a random seed to modify the passives around it. The version Gary is using adds a juicy minion damage mod here, and here. To grab those nodes without pathing to them, Gary is using the Impossible Escape jewel, which allows us to save a few skill points. In total, we can get 320% increased minion damage from this combo. For a little more oomph, Montregal's Grasp is a must. This has a nice minion damage multi, but it also makes enemies explode for even more ruckus. Amusingly, it also makes the zombies bigger, which just feels appropriate to me. The next step, surprisingly, is mines. But we're not actually detonating them. Gary is using Stormblast Mine, not for its explosion, but for its aura. Enemies near these mines take increased damage. He's also using Icicle Mine of Sabotage, which has a critical strike chance aura. If we combine this with the Saboteur's Demolition Specialist node, this increases the mine's aura effect by 150% and gives them a hindering effect, slowing enemies down. To really make the most out of this, Gary also takes Destructive Apparatus, which increases the duration of mines, and then this Mine Mastery, mines cannot be damaged. So in summary, we've got a handy mine-induced aura which we can place as we fight, which allows us to receive these bonuses for almost 10 seconds. We don't need to place these mines constantly, just every time you run into a boss or something else that requires a bit of killing. With Gary's version of the build, most bosses are dead before the mines expire. To give our reigning men even more crit chance, Gary is using Assassin's Mark and Spirit Offering. Both of these are socketed into our helmet, which has this special Betrayal mod. This essentially lets us cast these spells with one button instead of two. In order to always have a corpse for Spirit Offering, we use the Corpse Walker unique boots to spawn a corpse with every step we take. But Gary isn't done yet. Oh no. You might have noticed we're using Spectres, 3 new ones introduced in the Affliction League. Just like with our mines, we're using these for their aura effects. Perfect Dancing Sword improves our Impales, which we're getting from a Dread banner. Perfect Pain Artist provides Zealotry and Critical Strike multi, and Perfect Warlord is a handy defensive buff, using Vitality and giving us Endurance charges. The cool tech here is the way we keep our Spectre friends alive. Gary has taken the Life from Death passive found on a cluster jewel. This heals our Spectres every time a minion dies. And you might notice we have a fair few minions who have no other option but to die. We thank the falling zombies for their brief but eventful service. Our primary defenses are evasion and spell suppression. Since we're a shadow, these are easily accessible on the tree. And since we're a Saboteur, we also have access to Born in the Shadows. This node blinds nearby enemies and makes them weaker for it. So enemies are already having a hard time hitting us. To capitalize on this, Gary decided to try out the Kintsugi unique chest. If you've been hit recently, this increases your evasion, and if you haven't been hit, it reduces the damage you take. Gary was pleasantly surprised by its performance in the setup, especially during in-game boss fights. We've also invested into ailment immunity. Become immune to ignite and shock thanks to the Saboteur's Pyromaniac node, and immune to freeze by upgrading our Soul of the Brine King Pantheon. We also get 50% reduced effective chill here, and another 50% on this ring. Lastly, to help sustain our brutal flight across the map, we've got a decent chunk of life regen. This comes from our Spectre's Vitality Aura, a mod on our boots, and that handy Life from Death passive. It also has a mod that grants us 2% life regen if a minion has died recently, which we can assume is a safe bet. Ray's Zombie of Falling is a hilarious spell and my personal favourite addition from Affliction, but it can be tricky to build around. Gary has found an excellent way to do just that, using auxiliary mechanics like Mine and Spectre auras to boost damage. It's strong, fun, mobile, and sounds wonderfully crunchy. If you can speak Russian, we recommend checking out Gary's detailed and well-produced video guide linked below. Thanks to Natalia for translating that for us, and to Gary for the fun build. If you'd like to look like a mad necromancer, here's some microtransactions we used in this episode. See you next time.